My guest is Jordan Richards from the Screening Room. Thanks for coming in today.
Hi, Donna. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's your day going?
It's good. We are in the midst of March break, so this is a very nice break from the madness.
Right. So
it's pretty crazy there right now.
I can imagine with all these kids running around and keeping them amused. Yeah. But so that's over in a few days.
Over in a few days.
And then what's happening? What's
coming up, we got a few things. As far as big major studio releases, the two that I think are worth highlighting. We've got a film called One Life. It stars Anthony Hopkins, who is kind of in this. There's this tier list of patron saints of the Screening Room, where we know if one of these actors appears in it, we're in pretty good hands. It should be a popular movie. But it's a really fascinating true story of a man by the name of Sir Nicholas Winton. You may have seen the video. It circulates on the internet, but basically, I believe it was about 20 years ago. There was a taping of a British television show, sort of a chat show. And there was an old man in the crowd. And there was a moment where the host started telling this story about this unknown older gentleman who had managed to save 500 children during the Holocaust, never took credit for it, and then the audience all stands up, and it is comprised entirely of the kids that he saved, that he had never met before.
I just got a shiver.
Yeah, it's a really, they've made a film on it, One Life. The video itself is really worth checking out. It's one of the most sort of compelling kind of hidden camera moments.
Right.
But what's fascinating about him is that he lived in isolation and didn't tell anyone. It wasn't until his daughter wrote a book about him, because he suffered from really severe psychosis, haunted by the kids he didn't save. That's why he never said anything, because he felt that it would be sort of disrespectful to them to brag about the lives that he did save. And then ultimately, near the end of his life, he gets recognized as this hero. So it's a big sort of historical drama. Sir Anthony plays Sir Nicholas. And so we've got that coming up in April. And then to kind of pivot a little bit, but still in sort of the British British drama genre, we have a movie called Wicked Little Letters that we're sort of anticipating will be a big hit. Stars Olivia Colman, who also in that tier list of patrons.
She played the Queen in the Crown. On the
Queen
Crown
in the Crown.
Right.
Basically, when she shows up, we know that people are really excited to see her. This is more of a comedy. It's set in the 1930s in a rural British seaside town, and essentially someone starts writing these very vulgar, anonymous letters. And Olivia Colman's character is sort of, the town gossip, maybe, a little salty. Then they blame it on her, and it becomes this mystery of her trying to figure out who's writing these letters. It's like a comedy of errors. Should be a lot of fun. That's going to come out later in April, too.
Oh, she's wonderful.
She's the best. Yeah, she's great.
Such a good actress. Yeah.
And the press tour for that, I've just been watching some of the interviews, and it's just, she's having so much fun, because because the movie is about an older woman swearing. She has really gone out of the way to just really sell that home.
Sounds like she's channeling the Golden Girls.
Yeah, there's a little Blanche going on in there. A little Blanche going on. As far as some other things that we have, obviously KCFF came and went, but there were a lot of movies that we know were big hits, obviously sellouts, movies that people wanted to see. So for the next month or so, we are doing the best of KCFF.
What a good idea. You can't take them all in. I managed to take in 4 of them.
Yeah.
But you can just see just so many movies. I know it goes for 4 days, but I am not enough of a film buff to watch movies from 10 o'clock in the morning for 12 hours a day, basically. You could do it.
Oh, there are people who do. There are people who do.
Boy, I'm not one of them.
Well, so we've got a couple of those coming, because not only that, but generally their movies, there's maybe 2 screenings. So if you miss out on those 400 seats, you won't get an opportunity to see the film. So we have the opening film, Queen of My Dreams. We have Irina's Vow, which you and I were talking about earlier.
Let's go back to Queen of My Dreams. I didn't see that one. What was that one?
Queen of My Dreams, it tells the story. It's a coming-of-age story, sort of about a young woman reflecting on her mother's journey to Canada. But it's very Bollywood-inspired. It's got this really, really beautiful 60s aesthetic. It's kind of a love letter to both Golden Age Hollywood and sort of, Indian Bollywood cinema, but told through this kind of 2 time periods. It's kind of like a Big Fish, or, a movie kind of reminiscing back on the past. And it's about her sort of discovering who her mother was. It was a huge crowd pleaser. That was their big opening night movie. If you've seen any KCFF poster, you've seen the shot of the woman and the man on the car. It's, like that was their big movie there. So we're excited for that. That should be opening, I believe, mid-March. Okay. We've also got Irina's Vow, which we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I that was one of the ones I saw, and it is fabulous. Wow, it's disturbing. It's very disturbing. It takes place in Second World War, and it's this very young woman. She was Polish.
She's a nurse.
She kind of does what she needs to do to survive, but she rescues, I think it was 12 Jews,
right,
and hides them, and she's just, I'm thinking maybe in her 20s,
right,
young, and the actress, as I understand, is from Quebec,
right,
and she's, I'm going to say stunning.
Right.
In such a natural way. She's interesting looking. Her eyes are just. It's such a good film. I highly recommend, but it is disturbing.
Sure. And obviously difficult content.
And you're kind of grabbing your seat a few times because it's very suspenseful and so on, and it's well done.
Well, and really sort of from our perspective, like when we're. The festival is kind of the least engaged that we are with the movies, just in the sense that we're not programming them. But the only feedback that we get are sort of audience reactions, and you see really strong emotions coming out of people when those screenings ended. These were sold out screenings, and it seemed to be something really profound that struck people. People would like to come up and talk to us about the comedies or the dramas or the action films, but when something really strikes them, it's have a good night, and it's not, so obviously there's that kind of, disclaimer there, but I still think that it's probably a very important film.
That's a good word for it, important.
Sure.
And yes, I agree with you. It's funny when a film like that ends and there's applause, which you don't always get in a movie theater, but you do at the film festival.
Yes,
And then everybody is just silence. There's no chitter chatter as people are walking out of it. You just can't. It just keeps coming back to you.
Yeah, of course.
And I think what's interesting with those two, it shows what happened afterwards.
Sure.
And normally it's just done as text at the end.
And so and so did this. She lived this long.
And she,
directed by.
And she ended up having a very good life afterwards.
Wow.
But you're thinking, wow, this is like a woman you'd walk past in the supermarket and not realize just the impact they had. It was just. Very gripping film. I highly recommend it. Yes, Irina's Vow.
That's a mid-April release.
Okay.
And then just rounding off that series, we also have a movie called Suze, which seems like a really strange premise, but it is a comedy about a woman who has just become an empty nester. She's just gotten divorced with her husband, and through a sort of comedy of errors, befriends her daughter's ex-boyfriend. Oh. And he teaches her how to sort of appreciate herself again. It looks really funny.
Looks good.
Yeah, it seems like a really good one. And then the last KCFF highlight is a film called Rue, which I'm really interested in. It's a Quebecois film, but it's through the perspective of, I believe, a 7-year-old girl whose family just immigrates from Vietnam to Montreal. And it's a culture clash drama. So these are, obviously there are a lot of great movies at the festival. These are the ones that we would like to go out of our way to sort of spotlight, because like I said earlier, there should be opportunity to see these. Canadian films don't get the greatest distribution post-theatrical, so we really do our best to get them in a theater space, get people to come out and showcase them.
Yeah, I think Irina's Vow was only maybe 2 showings through the whole festival, and Yeah, it's lots of good stuff coming up, and good thinking films.
Yeah, we've got some fun stuff coming too.
Okay.
We're working on a series that's going to come out in April called The Aesthetics of Barbie, where we're going to show all of the films that influence the visual look of the movie. So. I think one that will really catch people off guard is we're showing a really old Jerry Lewis movie called The Ladies' Man. But when you watch it, you'll realize that the whole film is shot on a giant dollhouse. And you watch that, and then you look at Barbie Land. So that's sort of what we're going for there, is movies that played with color the same way. A film called Playtime, which is this legendary French comedy that Barbie really took inspiration for all of the office space. So there's fun stuff too. It's not all dour. It's not all, thinking movies, but we've got a lot going on.
It sounds great. It sounds great. So the screening room is located at?
120 Princess Street.
Okay.
Second floor.
Second floor. Best popcorn ever. Real butter.
We have a secret recipe. We do it a little different.
And coffee and tea comes in a real mug.
Real mug.
A real
and
mug.
when they're all out there and we have to use, people are upset.
That's right. I want my real mug.
But I do my best.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, great. It's great to see you.